Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another Pokemon Sun and Moon competitive analysis, how to use moveset video guide, whatever you want to call it. This time we're going to be talking about one of my new favorite mons to use in Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is Alolan Marowak. Now, Alolan Marowak is an extremely cool and anti-meta Pokemon, which I will be talking about throughout this video, but it is Fire and Ghost typing with a great ability in Lightning Rod. Now, you might be thinking, well, Lightning Rod doesn't sound so great for a Pokemon that has 50 base special attack. You're right on that regard, however, Lightning Rod grants you an immunity to electric attacks, meaning you don't take any damage at all. All it does is raise your special attack. On top of that, being Fire and Ghost, it is also immune to normal and fighting, so it has 3 immunities. It resists some key typings in this current metagame, being Steel, being Bug, being Fire, being Fairy, just to name a few. And it has a great item in Thick Club, and what Thick Club does is it doubles its attack stat. So even though its attack stat is currently 284, that is doubled because of the Thick Club item, which is exclusive to Marowak as well as Cubone. So all around, very solid Pokemon. Having the Fire and Ghost typing, there's 2 great typings offensively, and the first type we're going to be talking about, or the first set we're going to be talking about, by the way, these are all sets that I have tested and have had success with. So they're definitely sets that work with Alolan Marowak, and if you have any other sets, feel free to leave them down below. I'm not going to be mentioning the VGC set with Perish Song. I think you should go check out Wolf or Cybertron for videos on that type of stuff, but that's definitely something that is worth mentioning. But in any case, the first off, we have the offensive Swords Dance attacker, which runs Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone, and Earthquake. Now, you can change Earthquake for Bone Meringue, which is the same base power as Earthquake, but it just hits twice, meaning that if your opponent has like a sub-Age Slash or something like that, or anything but Substitute, you can break through that. But Flare Blitz and Shadow Bone are 2 main stabs, and with Thick Club, this thing has a ridiculous attack stat. You can actually 2-hit KO physically defensive Hippowdon with Flare Blitz after rocks, or after a spike you 2-hit KO it. Shadow Bone, your main, again, your another main form of stab. It's able to 2-hit KO Rotom after Stealth Rock, physically defensive Rotom after Stealth Rock, and Earthquake just rounds it out. Being able to deal with the electric types in the tier, such as Magnezone, such as Xurkitree, without having to resort to Flare Blitz recoil. But the speed allows you to outspeed Mega Scizor, support Mega Scizor currently, and it's just maxed out speed because it allows you to outspeed Mega Scizor, Skarmory, and Pokemon around that speed tier, and then you just maximize attack just to give you the most damage output. But this is just a straight up offensive Marowak attacker, and it hits incredibly hard. You don't even need to have bulk in order to take hits. You still check and wall Tapu Koko, for example. Tapu Koko's best attack to hit you is like Dazzling Gleam, which you do resist. Like I said, Marowak's typing, the fire typing really helps it out as well because it gave it an also resistance to Fairy. So, and it also is a great Pokemon that can check the Ultra Beasts, such as Pheromosa and Buzzwole, for example. They hit with fighting and bug type coverage, and one of those you are immune to, the other one you resist. So it's a great Pokemon. Outside of that, it's a really good anti-meta Pokemon, as you can take on a lot of the Ultra Beasts this time around. Next up, we have the Trick Room set, which runs Brave Nature, and you're going to maximize your HP because you don't need speed when you're in the Trick Room. In Trick Room, slower Pokemon go first. So minimize your speed, go Brave Nature, max HP, or 248 HP. That way you can switch into Stealth Rock multiple times, max attack, and the rest was put into defense. Now, you don't have to run Substitute on this, Swords Dance on this set. You can run Substitute, and what Substitute allows you to do is Marowak forces switches. Now, Swords Dance does allow you to hit your opponent incredibly hard after the +2, but it also does waste a turn of Trick Room. And by going for Substitute, you get to see what your opponent goes out into, maybe as something as a pivot, and if they were sending out something as fodder, you get to knock that thing out while being behind a Substitute, and that just allows Marowak to really go to town. Lightning Rod is just the preferred ability on Marowak, and I think it's just the best ability overall. It gives it it grants it a 3rd immunity for absolutely nothing, so I think that's his best ability that it can have. But basically, Substitute Marowak or Swords Dance, both are very viable, always running the Thick Club, and you hit incredibly hard, and plus you're really slow. Base 45 speed, 0 speed IVs, it's 85, so just to name a few Pokemon that you are slower than. Slowbro is one of them. Amoonguss, and by subbing up versus Amoonguss, it can't hit you with a Spore. Again, this is talking about Pokebank meta, not necessarily the meta that we have now, but that's just to name a few Pokemon. I'll actually show you. Amoonguss is Base 30, yes, but it does have 96 speed because it doesn't run min speed IVs. So yeah, the substitute attacker is definitely devastating under Trick Room, and if you ever need something that can take on the Ultra Beast, you're weak to Pheromosa, you're weak to Buzzwole, though do watch out for Buzzwole because it can hit you with Earthquake if it does have it. But if you're weak to Pheromosa, if you're weak to Tapu Koko, if you're weak to Xurkitree, Marowak is definitely your man because it resists or is immune to most of the hits and it just takes nothing from the attacks and it's just a devastating mon in the Trick Room. Next up is my favorite Marowak set in the current meta game. I talked about it being anti-meta because it could take on the Ultra Beast as well as the Tapus, or at least Tapu Koko. But this is my favorite Marowak set. It is Spadef Marowak that runs support. This is a pre-Pokebank meta, meaning that this is the meta that you can play on Wi-Fi right now. Pokebank comes out in January, so this is pre-Pokebank, and then I'll be talking about support set for post-Pokebank that I think also can work. But the pre-Pokebank set is Will-O-Wisp, Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone, and Earthquake. Now you're really taking advantage of the fact that it has so many resistances and 3 immunities. Basically, the idea of this set is to spread status with Will-O-Wisp, check the Tapus, or check Tapu Koko, check Pheromosa, spread status with Will-O-Wisp, and then just do some damage from there. You're able to take on Celesteela with this set, which would otherwise, well, you could beat anyway, but you can burn it and you can deal it with Flare Blitz. Obviously, you're a lot weaker because you are running leftovers on this set. This set is all about taking the hits, so you want the longevity of leftovers, whereas Thick Club gives you that boost in attack for no reason. But Spadef is run because this allows you to take on Xurkitree as well as Tapu Koko better in the meta game, and you are also just able to spread status. I find myself so often just having Toxapex come in, and Toxapex is such an annoying Pokemon this generation to deal with. I love it too, but being able to burn it, wearing it down with Will-O-Wisp, and then being able to hit it with Earthquakes. Earthquake is rather weak versus Toxapex, however, it's not going to be doing much to you. Another great thing about Marowak is it can't be burnt because it is a fire type, so at least by Scald or anything like that. If you go for like Soak, then you can burn it. But yeah, Marowak cannot be, that's just something, you know, gimmicky. But Marowak cannot be burnt, and it allows you to take them on. Again, with the Spadef, you can even take on Scalds from Toxapex and wear it down with Will-O-Wisp and Earthquakes respectively. Just the 3 attacks, your main form of stab. Other options are also Protect if you don't want to run Shadow Bone. Protect lets you get back a little bit of extra leftovers just because Marowak doesn't have the best recovery. There's also another option that it still can be run, and it's also Sleep Talk. I've seen Sleep Talk be Rest Sleep Talk be run just because Marowak does not have the best recovery, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. You're going to be spreading status with Will-O-Wisp. You have Flare Blitz because it allows you to check Aegislash, allows you to check Scizor if they come out of hand, and also just gives you the best damage output that you can have. But typically I like to run Shadow Bone as well as Earthquake because I like to be able to deal with Magnezone and Xurkitree without losing health from Flare Blitz. But again, Rest Talk is definitely something that can be ran on Marowak if you do want that longevity. I advise running this with Toxapex. I think Toxapex support and Will-O-Wisp support are very nice, especially if you're opposing or your opponent has Toxapex as well. You burn them and you wear them down, and then you deal with them, and then you can get up your own Toxapex with your own Toxapex. But pretty much any team weak to Xurkitree, Tapu Koko, Pheromosa, Marowak goes extremely well on that squad. And like I said, Rest Talk is also an option for the support set. So now we talked about the support set for Pokebank, or the pre-Pokebank meta. Now we're going to be talking about support set for post-Pokebank meta. Now, when Pokebank comes out, Marowak will have access to Knock Off, Fire Punch, Stealth Rock. I think it gets Fire Punch now, I'm not entirely sure. But I know it will have access to all these moves, and it actually just widens its support move pool. Will-O-Wisp is still going to be run because your main function of this set is to spread status, but now you have the option of running Knock Off, and Knock Off allows you to deal with your opponent's item. And what that does is you're wearing them down with the fact that they don't have any item. Let's say a leftovers mon like Toxapex or Black Sludge mon like Toxapex came in, you got rid of its item, now you're wearing it down with Will-O-Wisp, and you can also set up Stealth Rock. You don't necessarily need Shadow Bone or Earthquake on the support set, especially because Fire Punch gets the job done versus Scizor versus Ferrothorn, doing okay damage to Skarmory coupled with Knockoff plus Will-O-Wisp on top of that. And you're not taking any recoil damage at all from Flare Blitz, so it just widens its support move pool when Pokebank comes out. But having Knockoff is so sick because Knockoff is such a great move simply because it doesn't matter if your opponent resisted or not. They're losing their item, so they're going to be taking damage from potentially Will-O-Wisp. It's no Scald, though. It's no Scald. But, yeah, the fact that your opponent can lose the item, you can get up Stealth Rock. It's a reliable Stealth Rocker as well because it forces switches. Xurkitree, for example, is if it goes for Volt Switch, you get in and it can't touch you. Lightning Rod is just there and it's stuck. Tapu Koko has to either double or get off an attack, and that allows you to get up Stealth Rock. Same thing with Pheromosa. Pheromosa's moveset at all can't touch you. And it's also a spin block, if you guys didn't know. The fact that you're a ghost type, you also block Rapid Spin. You full-on shut down Pheromosa. High Jump Kick, Lunge, U-Turn, Poison Jab, Ice Beam, Rapid Spin. All of the above, you either resist or are immune to. So Marowak is a very solid anti-meta Pokemon that I very much like in this metagame, and this is just the other support set that I think will be extremely common once PokeaimMD comes out. Will-O-Wisp knockoff works great together. You're able to get rid of your opponent's item and then burn them and just wear them down. Fire Punch means you don't have to take any recoil damage from Flare Blitz, and then Stealth Rock, just pile it up. You're getting some chip damage on your opponent as they're switching around. But yeah, that's all I have for Alolan Marowak. This is probably one of my favorite Pokemon to use in this metagame. Again, it's so anti-meta, just being able to deal with so many threats. And yeah, I do want to know your thoughts. Leave them down below. Also, a lot of you guys are saying, oh, can you do this Pokemon? Oh, can you do this Pokemon? Guys, I'm doing every single Pokemon. I am doing every single new Pokemon that came with Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but I'm 100% doing every single Pokemon, and they will get done. But in any case, I hope you guys all enjoy. Feel free to subscribe for more. You can follow me on Twitch as well as Twitter. I do stream Pokemon Wi-Fi battles, Pokemon Showdown, and stuff that's not necessarily Pokemon, as well as follow me on Twitter, knowing when I upload, keeping up to date, my thoughts and whatnot. And yeah, you can subscribe for more guides, how to do videos, as well as some Pokemon showcases, Wi-Fi battles and whatnot. So that's going to be it, guys. Goodbye, friends.